All right, guys, this is it. This is our last one. You should feel very proud right now and hopefully excited at the same time that we are almost done. All right, let's recall Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. Last time we solved for the hypotenuse. Today we're going to solve for a missing leg. We use the same exact formula. Let's dive right in. So here with our first one, no diagram, we just got B and C, and we're going to find A. So I'm going to start with writing down a squared plus b squared equals c squared. B is 15, so that's 15 squared, and 25 squared for C. We're looking for a squared. So we need to do our squares first. Use your calculator whenever needed. 15 squared is 225. I'm going to go to my calculator for 25 squared, and I've got 625. Okay, so the difference now is that we're looking for a leg. We're given C, so we can't add these together. We need to do the opposite. We need to subtract. So I'm going to subtract 225 from both sides. 625 minus 225. Don't know why I'm using my calculator here. It's 400. A squared. And now we find the square root. Square root of a squared is just a. Square root of 400 is 20. And that's it. Okay, hopefully not too difficult. 2. Same thing, but we're given a triangle. So now, here is our right angle. Across from our right angle is our hypotenuse. This is C. So we've got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It doesn't matter what we fill 7 in for. Like on this last one, we were told to find A. If we plugged it in for B and solved if we plugged it in for A and solved for B, we'd get the same answer. Remember we talked about it didn't matter which one was A or B. So it doesn't matter where we plug that in. So I'll just plug it in for A. And then 16, though, has to go in for C because that is the longest side. That's our hypotenuse. 7 squared is 49. 16 squared, I'm going to my calculator. 16 times 16 is 256. We now subtract 49 from both sides. So this is the only difference from Monday's lesson. Instead of adding, we're subtracting. 256 minus 49 is 207. Square root of 207 is 14. I don't remember not getting a perfect number. Just want to make sure I didn't screw anything up. 7 times 7 is 49. 16, 256 minus 49 is 207. Okay, I apologize, guys. I thought I had a whole number answer here. I don't, so I didn't say word around. But we talked about this last time about getting decimals. So we'll round to the nearest tenth. I've got 14.3 and then 8. So that 8's going to round the 3 up to 14.4. Okay. I kind of surprised myself on that one. I apologize. I haven't done these notes in a year. I guess I just didn't remember what I had in my notes. All right, if you feel ready, pause your video. Try 3 and 4 on your own. Okay. So again, I'm going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It doesn't matter which leg we plug in, A or B, but it does matter where we put the 10. 10 is our hypotenuse, across from the right angle. It's our longest side. So I'll just do a squared, and I'll put the 6 in over here. I'll switch it up. So now we've got 36. 10 times 10 is 100. Oh, plus a squared. Subtract 36 from both sides. 100 minus 36 is 64. Last step is to find the square root. A is equal to 8. Okay, 4. Starting with my formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Let a be 33, b we don't know, and c is 54. I'm going to go to my calculator. 33 times 33 is 1,089. 54 times 54 is 2,916. So I'm going to subtract 1,089 from both sides. And I've got 1,827. Last step, find the square root of both sides. So I've got b equals 42.74, and around to the nearest tenth, so 42.7. All right, my notes from previous years, I guess I threw those decimals right in there and totally forgot that I did that. So our next part talks about getting those decimals again. So I really don't have much to explain. It's the same stuff over again. If you want to try 5 and 6 on your own, you can. Pause your video. But again, there's that same note. So I guess I thought I had whole numbers there. Okay, so pause your video. Try them on your own. Let A equal 10 and C equal 16. We're going to find B. 10 squared plus B squared equals 16 squared. 10 times 10 is 100. 16 squared is 256. Remember, we're subtracting here. B squared is equal to 156. Our last step is to find the square root. Square root of 150, nope, I just punched that in wrong. Square root of 156 is about 12.48. I stopped it here because directions tell me to go to the nearest tenth. 8 tells me to bump that up to a 5, so 12.5. Okay, again, if you didn't already, pause your video and try 6. a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm going to plug in 22 for a, leaving b blank. C is 33 squared, and I'm going to my calculator. 22 squared is 484. 33 squared is 1089. Subtract 484 from both sides. We get 605. Last step is to find that square root. I've got 24.599 will tell me to bump that up to 24.6. All right, couple of word problems. Again, with word problems, we're going to draw a picture first. If you feel confident, try them on your own. If you want to draw the picture and then try it on your own, you could go ahead and do that as well. A telephone pole support cable attaches to a pole 30 feet high. If the cable is 36 feet long, how far from the bottom of the pole does the cable attach to the ground? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so that might be confusing without a picture. So I'm going to draw a picture. We've got the pole. Okay. A cable is off this pole. It's attached to the ground. Put a little stake there. I actually, growing up as a kid, there was a telephone pole cable right near a little parking spot we had on the side of our house. As you know, my siblings and I got older, that's where we parked because there wasn't enough room in the driveway, and we had to watch out for this cable that came off the telephone pole. Okay, so here is my right triangle. So now it's attached to the pole 30 feet high. So this side is 30. And the cable is 36 feet long. So this is 36. We want to know how far from the bottom of the pole is the cable attached to the ground. Okay. I'll call it A. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to leave my a blank. 30 squared equals 36 squared. 30 squared is 900. 36 squared is 1,296. Subtract 900 from both sides. I'm using my calculator. I get 396. We went around to the nearest tenth here. Our last step is to find the square root of 396. I've got about 19.89. That's going to bump this up to a 9. 19.9, and we are in feet. Okay. A 24-foot ladder leans against a house. The ladder reaches 17 feet up the side of the house. How far away from the house is the bottom of the ladder? Round to the nearest whole number. Similar to when we saw last time. So there's my house a little crooked. There's my house. We got the ladder. Oh, geez. That's a terrible ladder as well. And there's our ground. So the ladder is 24 feet. It reaches 17 feet up the side of the house. How far away from the house is the bottom of the ladder? So we're looking down here. I'll call it A again. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Leaving A blank. 17 squared equals 24 squared. 17 squared is 289. 24 squared is 576. I'm going to subtract 289 from both sides. I get 287. My last step is to find the square root. Go to my calculator. I've got 16.9. I'm going to the nearest whole, so the 9 is going to tell me to bump that up to 17. And we're working in feet. Okay. This last page, still Pythagorean theorem. So what's going to happen here is we're going to use Pythagorean theorem to determine if 3 given sides form a right triangle. So we have all the sides. Do they form a right triangle? So we first have to decide which side is the longest. That side is going to be our C. So now we have all 3 sides. A and B don't matter, but C does. C has to be the longest side. So it might just make sense to put them right in numerical order. So we're still using A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So it's almost kind of like your check. When we solve, we want to make sure that one side equals the other. So we have all the parts, we're plugging them all in. We want to see if it comes out to be true. If it's true, it's a right triangle. If it's false, then it's not a right triangle. So I'm gonna put it right in order. So I'm gonna do 5 squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. So this has to be the biggest side. Right? It only makes sense that 2 smaller parts are going to add up to the largest part. 5 times 5 is 25. 12 times 12 is 144. And 13 times 13 is 169. We add together over here. 5 plus 4 is 9. 4 plus 2 is 6. 1, so it matches. It's true. We have a right triangle. Okay. All right, let's do 10 together, and then you could try 11 and 12 on your own. So, formula A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I'm going to put these right in order. 7 squared plus 8 squared equal 12 squared. 7 times 7. 8 times 8. And 12 times 12. Let's see. 49 plus 64. 9 plus 4. It's 13. I don't know what I did there. Carry the 1. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 is 11. It does not match. not true. Therefore, not a right triangle. Okay. All right, pause your video. You try 11 and 12 on your own. We come right back to Pythagorean theorem. 8 squared plus 15 squared equals 17 squared. 64 plus 225 equals 289. I add 225 plus 64 and I get 289. It's true? Yes, it's a right triangle. Okay, remember, pause and do 12 on your own if you haven't done so already. Put them in order. 10 squared plus 12 squared equals 16 squared. 100 plus 144 equals 256. 100 plus 144 is 244, not equal to 256. Not true, not a right triangle. Okay, guys, that's it. We're done. You have finished Math 8. Congratulations. All right. Have a good one.